By now, you're familiar with forms from HTML. They're the standard way of obtaining input from users, whether via input fields, text area fields, or selects. Controlled forms in React are a way of setting up an HTML form so that the form values are directly tied to the state of the React component that the form is in. In this approach, React reaches in and takes control of the state of your form elements, becoming what's called the single source of truth for the form's state. This way, the HTML form and React won't ever conflict with each other on what the true state is. The form gets its true state directly from React. This way, that means any changes that the user makes to the form fields will be immediately reflected in the component state. Then the component is easily able to respond to those changes using JavaScript, such as by validating the input and showing error messages. Let me show you a basic example of a controlled form in CodePen. Here, I have a form with just a single input. You can see that the value of this input is set to a property of the component state, which is initialized as an empty string in the constructor. Then the onChange event handler is used to track any changes to the input's value, and I give it a class method, this.handleChange, to run when any changes happen. Then up here, we define that method. This event object is passed in by default in JavaScript from the onChange event handler, and it has some built-in properties that can be useful. This property, event.target, for example, will always point to the element that the event originated from. So in this case, event target is this input element. That means event.target.value is going to be whatever is in the text field. So using setState, the component state is changed to whatever is now in the text field. Then, just to demonstrate, I have this text down here that then accesses the state and displays it. The last thing I want to point out is this use of the bind method, which is the built-in JavaScript method. Whenever you need to use the this keyword inside an event handler method, you need to ensure that the this keyword is bound properly, and this bind method call does that. If I remove this binding, this method would no longer work because it wouldn't have the proper reference for this. Another way to make sure that the this keyword is bound properly is to use an arrow function for this method. Then it will work without calling the bind method. This CodePen is linked as an example in the written instructions, so you can look at it and experiment with it if you like. In the following exercises, you will be adding controlled form elements to your React website.